Okay, a little bit of a change of pace in today's video. I've been very much caught up in trying to cover all the electric vehicle news and mostly Tesla stuff I can that I realized I never just kind of sat down and introduced myself. A lot of you guys are watching my videos for the first time. Some of you have come from the other Tailosive channels in the network, and I wanted to just pause for a moment on the news update so we could talk a little bit about electric vehicles and how they relate to me and why I'm talking about them and all that. So, welcome to the Tailosive EV channel. My name is Andrew Erickson. I run a network of channels under the brand Tailosive, and we aim just to kind of create a family-friendly network of all different types of stuff. We're not really aiming to make sure every single channel gets content posted on a daily, but the stuff that I have interests in, that's the stuff I'm going to work on, and I try to make 2 to 3 videos a day. I'm a somewhat regular podcaster. I'm a Twitch partner, and I gained most of my momentum on YouTube through the Tailosive Tech YouTube channel, which has exploded over the years, where I mostly talked about Apple and their competitors, and as I decided that more and more interesting tech was coming to the electric vehicle space, it made more and more sense that since these demographics of people, some that liked electric vehicles and some that liked just Apple computers and iPhones and talking about that stuff, were very different markets. So I thought it would be stronger to separate the two. You know, if you like both, then that's fine. You can subscribe to both and you get 2 videos a day. But there were a lot of people that were definitely interested in the EV stuff that weren't so interested in the basic consumer tech stuff. So that's why the channel's separated, and I cannot be happier with the success this channel has seen so far. It's amazing. We just surpassed 13,000 subscribers at the time of recording this. So thank you guys for subscribing. Thank you for tuning in and watching my videos. I really appreciate that. And a common question I got on Twitter, because I tweeted out a video of me checking out a Model 3 and just kind of drooling over it, especially. A lot of people were like, wait, you are running an EV channel and you don't have a Tesla. So yeah, let's just, let's clear the air on that. I'm a huge fan of Tesla. I completely believe they're the future, and I don't think that the speculation of them having $1 trillion in revenue by 2030 is actually that outlandish, because I believe they have such distinct advantages over their competitors, and I believe the future is electric, and so much of what they're doing I think is going to position them in a place over the next century where they're going to be one of the largest companies on earth. And I don't own a Tesla. I think they're amazing. I've driven them. I have friends who own one, and we've rented them in the past and driven them around. I drove my 93-year-old grandma around over on my vlogging channel. That was before this EV channel existed. If I had this channel, I probably would have posted it on that. This might make you cringe a little bit, but I do drive an ICE vehicle because I work from home. I don't really have much need for a car right now. So me and my beautiful wife, Louise, are sharing the one car, and we get by fine because she works in the morning, so she has to drive to work. So she takes our shared Hyundai Sonata from 2007. It's nothing fancy. I know it's not electric, so I probably shouldn't even be talking about it on this channel, but it gets the job done. It's not my dream car or anything like that. I bought it when I was just getting out of high school, and that was in 2016. So since then, it's been a reliable car. It's worked fine. Surprisingly good sound system, but yeah, obviously a gas car nonetheless. And my hope is that my next car can be a Tesla, because I'm totally on board with all electric vehicles. The idea of having less oil changes, less brake pad replacements, and not having to pay for gas and being able to charge from home. I'm super on board with all of that. I'm just not in a financial place right now where I'm ready to buy one. And that stems from a lot of things. I won't go into the specifics, but a lot of it just comes from me not really wanting to be in debt when we buy an expensive car like that. I want to make sure all of our debts are paid off. And it also doesn't exactly feel like the best time to buy a Tesla, because this is not a purchase I plan on making lightly. You know, when I buy a Tesla in time, I want it to be the right one, and I don't plan on ever trading it in or selling it. You know, I want to buy one brand new, and I want to drive it for like over 20 years, basically. Unless something goes terribly wrong with it, I want to hold on to it for the long haul. And of course, when that day comes, I'll be glad to make lots of videos on it. But you know, one thing that kind of stopped me from making electric vehicle videos over on Tailosive Tech was I felt like a guy who doesn't drive an electric car probably shouldn't start a channel or talk that much about electric cars. And that kind of scared me off a little bit, but once I started realizing I had so many thoughts and opinions on it, and I could cover the news of it without necessarily owning the car myself, and when I started watching channels like Hyperchange, I realized that there were plenty of people in the Tesla community and that were into electric vehicles that could talk about them without necessarily owning one. So that's when I started to feel more comfortable with the idea of making an EV channel and talking about news and updates, because that appears to do pretty well in the YouTube algorithm and what people want to watch. And at the end of the day, that's ultimately what I'm trying to do, is make things people want to watch. And I noticed things like with Teslanomics channel, where the actual stats and the big picture updates for Tesla as a company were way more interesting to the audience than were like day-to-day just here's what I'm doing with my current Tesla. Not that those videos can't do well, I just didn't notice that channels with Teslas were doing substantially better than channels without Teslas. So at that point, that's when I started saying, you know what, I think I need to try. I think I need to give this a shot and try to make an effort to create EV content, even though I don't own one, because I am interested in them and I think there's lots to talk about. And I think in regards to just the tech space as a whole, what Tesla's doing is far more interesting than any other company right now, to the point that this channel oftentimes grows faster and can perform better than my primary tech channel that my whole network got so popular on. So I know this is a revolution. I know this is going to be the future. And there was a lot of people telling me on both Twitter and Instagram that, hey, just get a Tesla. Just what are you waiting for? Just get one now. And I'm not interested in leasing. I don't even want to do a loan on one because, again, me and my wife have this thing about debt that we don't like, and we just want to combat that first. And we also have things like Battery Investor Day coming up right around the corner, and also the Model Y launching soon. And those cars and what Tesla does with the Battery Investor Day, I think are going to be very, very interesting, and may dictate whether or not it's a good idea to buy a Tesla right now, or maybe it's worth waiting for the Model Y once they catch up on demand. So I just feel like now is not a great time to buy one. I feel like there's a lot of stuff changing, and if you're in a stage of life where you feel like buying a Tesla or buying an electric car of any kind is going to be beneficial to you, I'm not trying to shame you from that. Absolutely go ahead and buy one if you need to. It's just, I'm a guy who works from home and I barely drive that much as it is, and we want to prioritize our debts first and then talk about, you know, fun toys like Teslas that are really, really cool. And don't get me wrong, I absolutely want to get one like right now, because I just point them out every time I see them on the road, and anytime we're at a mall or something that happens to have a Tesla showroom in it, I have to stop by and look at it. And I'm going to be visiting my friend with a Model 3 next month, and I'll be sure to get lots of footage of that, and we can do a collab video with him. But it just doesn't really make sense for me from a financial standpoint right now, and in time I'm sure it will. The Sonata is holding up okay so far. It's not holding up great, but it's getting the job done for what we need it to do, and my hope is just that it can last until I'm in a financial place where I'm ready for one, and you'll be sure to know all about that when the day comes. But in the meantime, this is just going to be a news and updates channel where we talk about theories and speculate on when vehicles are coming or what the specs of Tesla's competitors are going to be. And the whole reason I called this channel Tailosive EV and not just Tailosive Tesla is because I do believe in time, it may not feel like it right now, but in time there's going to be lots of other up-and-coming electric vehicle companies, some like Rivian, that are going to have interesting vehicles and topics for us to dive into. And I didn't want to restrict the channel to just Tesla, because right now I feel like, yeah, they're dominating the market, but in time, once other automakers start switching over, I want to be able to talk about what they're going to do. So that's why it doesn't make sense to take another company's name and incorporate it into my channel, because I don't want to restrict myself to just talking about Tesla. Even though right now, yeah, it feels like that's pretty much all there is to talk about, but I'm not afraid to occasionally do a video on Rivian or the Mach-E or Mercedes EQC and the VW ID3, and there's all types of electric vehicles that are coming up that I want to talk about. But yeah, Tesla's doing the most in the EV space, so that's why the EV channel primarily talks about them right now. So I hope that clears up some confusion out there for some of the new subscribers who are wondering who this guy is and what he's doing. This is not a normal type of video. You know, after this one, we can move back into just the news and updates and that kind of thing. But so yeah, feel free to look up Tailosive EV on Instagram, Twitter, and that kind of thing to get in contact with me if you have more questions about the channel or suggestions or recommendations, or want to talk more about the terrible drywall job on my window or my hair or my beard, any of that stuff. I'm very active over on Twitter, so that's probably the best way to get a hold of me. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Hope you have an excellent day. Take care.